There's not many franchises as flexible as Far Cry. At its core, a Far Cry game is defined by its first-person action in an open world. But that can work in a lot of different ways, which we already know thanks to Far Cry Blood Dragon, a downloadable title we got after Far Cry 3, which took the series into a futuristic setting full of dinosaurs that was heavily stylized to feel like an 80s action movie. Far Cry Primal is an even further deviation for the franchise, taking us back to 10,000 BC. We play as a caveman named Tucker, who's part of a tribe called the Wenger. Obviously, back in this time, there were no guns, so that removes Far Cry's core mechanic. Instead, you'll be using weapons like a bow and arrow, clubs, or spears. Mechanically, this is still very much a Far Cry game. You hunt and skin animals to upgrade your equipment, gather plants to make health packs, and take over a bunch of enemy outposts, which now take the shape of enemy tribes' camps. My biggest concern for Primal was that this was going to be another Blood Dragon. Blood Dragon was great, but it was a much smaller game, and hence was a cheaper downloadable title, whereas Primal is a full-priced retail game. If you are also concerned about this, don't be. Primal is a full-fledged Far Cry game with a ton of side missions, upgrades, a large map, and a fleshed out skill tree. Something that Primal excels at is being fun moment to moment. Taking down an enemy tribe's camp is always fun, whether you're stealthily picking off enemies with your bow and arrow, or just charging in swinging a club. Because of its setting, this game can't have vehicles, but the ability to mount an animal from Far Cry 4 does return. But now, instead of riding into battle on an elephant, you'll be charging enemies from the top of a mammoth. In Far Cry Primal, you'll also be recruiting new people into your tribe's village. You find new people through missions or through saving people who are being attacked by enemy tribes. As your population increases, so do the amount of upgrades at your disposal. The mechanic that differentiates Primal from the previous games is your ability to control animals and make them act as companions. The only animal that you'll always have at your disposal is an owl, who you can take control of and use to survey the surrounding area, or once upgraded, even kill enemies. Other animals like tigers and wolves are only with you until they die. When that happens, you'll need to revive them with red leaves, or find a new animal. Far Cry Primal's story isn't very good, and the way that the characters speak a primitive language with subtitles constantly on screen didn't appeal to me either. But the story has never been Far Cry's strong point, and Far Cry is incredibly fun. And isn't that what's most important in a game? Primal does feel very familiar though, and if you don't like previous Far Cry games, this game probably won't turn you around on the series. But Far Cry Primal is another great entry for fans, so I'm giving it an 8. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe for new videos every week.